In a room bathed in the soft afternoon light streaming through the tall windows, a young anthropology student, with curious eyes and an insatiable thirst for knowledge, hesitantly raised his hand. It was one of those quiet afternoons where the air seemed to carry the weight of unasked questions, and he decided to break the silence. "Professor Mead," he began, his voice a whisper that broke the serenity of the room, "in your opinion, what represents the first sign of human civilization?" Margaret Mead, the renowned anthropologist whose studies on cultures and societies commanded the admiration of everyone in the room, slowly lifted her eyes from behind her thin-rimmed glasses. Her expression, always serene and insightful, reflected the wisdom of decades of research and introspection about human nature. The other students held their breath, expecting an answer that might involve stone tools, agricultural techniques, or complex social structures. However, what followed challenged their expectations and transported them on a journey of deep reflection about what it truly means to be human. Margaret Mead observed the student for a moment, as if contemplating not just the question, but also how to convey a fundamental truth about human nature. With a calm and assured voice, she began to lift the veil that separates the history of humanity from mere dates and artifacts. "A femur," she said, her voice resonating in the room like a deep whisper of wisdom accumulated over the years. About 15,000 years ago, during an archaeological excavation, a broken human femur was found. The student's eyes widened slightly, waiting for her to explain how a bone could represent the birth of civilization. But Mead continued, her thoughts flowing like calm waters that carry ancient secrets. "This femur was broken, but it had healed," she continued, now capturing not just their attention, but also their imagination. "It is one of the largest bones in the human body, connecting the hip to the knee, and it takes about 6 weeks to heal completely." Her words echoed in the air, as if each syllable carried the weight of a profound discovery about human nature. The broken femur was not just an ancient bone, but a silent witness to the care and compassion that existed among our distant ancestors. The femur, discovered deep within the earth, was more than just a fossilized bone fragment. It was a tangible link to the past, a silent testament to a time when human concerns transcended mere individual survival. Margaret Mead outlined the details with a clarity that transformed the ancient bone into something vivid and palpable for everyone in the room. She described how the femur, despite being broken, had been carefully protected and treated by those who lived in that distant era. It was evident that someone had dedicated themselves to shelter, feed, and protect the injured person, instead of simply abandoning them to their fate. As she spoke, the femur became a powerful symbol of human empathy, a reminder that our ancestors understood the importance of caring for one another, even in times of adversity and danger. As the students absorbed Margaret Mead's words, their minds turned to a profound reflection on human nature compared to the relentless brutality of wildlife. The American anthropologist paused, allowing the weight of her words to echo in the room. And, as we reflect on this healed femur, an analogy with nature arises. In the wild, any animal that suffers a similar break is doomed. For a predator, the inability to hunt means starvation and death. For prey, the inability to flee means being caught and devoured. She continued, casting a penetrating look around the room, making each student confront the harsh reality of the natural world. But our ancestors did not choose that path. Instead, they chose an act that transcends mere individual survival. They chose to care for and protect those who were injured, ensuring not just immediate survival, but also the development of social bonds that define us as humans. The analogy between the healed femur and the ruthless jungle served as a powerful reminder that human civilization is not only about building tools or developing agricultural techniques. It lies in the unique capacity for compassion and mutual care that transcends the basic instincts of wildlife. As Margaret Mead's words came to a close, she allowed a reverent silence to fill the room, letting each student absorb the depth of what had just been shared. The broken femur, with its delicate healing and testament to care, remained a living symbol of a universal truth about humanity. The students reflected on how this story was not just a distant archaeological discovery, but a timeless lesson on what it means to be civilized. It was not merely about technological advances or complex social structures, but the core of humanity. The act of caring, protecting, and being concerned for one another. Margaret Mead concluded her explanation with a final observation, one that would echo in the minds of those present long after that quiet afternoon. Ultimately, true civilization is measured not only by what we build, but by how we treat the vulnerable, the injured, and the needy. It is this mutual care that distinguishes our species and elevates us above the simple laws of nature. As the setting sun bathed the room in golden hues, the students rose with a new understanding, aware that the story of the broken femur was not just a narrative of the past, but a continuous inspiration to shape a future where compassion and care remain the pillars of a true human civilization.